The Blackhawks beat the Dallas Stars 4-3 at the United Center. An exciting end, a great game. Let's wrap it all up next on CHGO Blackhawks. Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks post-game podcast presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use our code CHGO365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Hawks win. They beat the Dallas Stars 4-3 at the United Center in one of their most complete and satisfying victories of the year. I'm Jay Zawaski. That's Greg Boysen. Chloe Thiel's here running the show. Mario's going to join us from the United Center a little bit later on. And as we begin, a $100 super chat from Adrian says, totally meant to send 99 last time. Go Hawks. Happy New Year's. Thank you, Adrian. That's a great way to start. And you can start by hitting the like button. That's free. We like super chats too. But for every 100 likes, Noodleman is activated. And I see Noodleman active in the chat these days. So that's exciting. But let's talk about this game. All right. Enough nonsense.
Yes.
End of the game aside, where Dallas pulls Jake Ottinger with about 4 minutes to go, they get 2 goals. Erase that. This was such a solid effort, and really a similar effort to what they had against the Islanders, where it was very much sticking with it, executing, keeping it simple, changing at the right times, pinching at the right times. This team has been extremely well coached over the last handful of games, save for Pittsburgh, which you can't even really...
It wasn't coaching. That was bad.
Yeah, that was bad goaltending. Like, they have kind of found their stride here a little bit. And if you get 4 goals from this roster, that is a really great performance.
Yeah, we talked about it on the last post-game show that this team has, after the holiday break, has kind of figured out how to play without Connor Bedard and Frank Nazar. You knew that they were going to take some time when you do... lose 2 guys like that in the span of a week. It's kind of like training camp all over again. Jeff Blashill's got to try out new combinations. Guys are playing in different roles. Some guys are getting, power play time when they weren't. Some guys are now playing 3-4 extra minutes a night, playing with better players. It takes time to get used to all that, but now we're seeing it come together, and this was a great effort tonight. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I kind of wish the Hawks had more games on the schedule against the Dallas Stars because they kind of own them right now. And big win tonight. Spencer Knight was really good. I gave up 3 in the end, but he made some big saves early. The power play gets 2 goals tonight. Ilya Mikheyev, awesome game for him. Nice to see him finish a couple of those plays when we've seen a lot of those types of plays this season where he fumbles the puck or just misses. So good to see him get rewarded. On Tuesday against the Islanders, it was the kids that led the way. Tonight it was more the veterans, with Mikheyev with his 2 goals and Tavo chipping in again and Donato 2 assists.
Pair of assists for him, yeah.
Burakovsky 2 assists. But, fun Artyom Levshunov strikes again. I love this kid so much. He's a blast.
He's playing with so much confidence right now.
That's key. I mean, a confidence player is a dangerous player, and this is the best stretch of hockey he's ever played.
Yeah, a lot there. I want to start with, can we play Dallas more? And I think there is a little bit of something to the fear factor of if we don't play almost perfect hockey, we're going to get our asses kicked. And we don't want to get our asses kicked at home. This team is so much better on paper than we are. They're so much better in the standings than we are. They're so much better roster-wise than we are. We have to execute at every moment to win this game. And the few times they didn't execute, the puck ended up in the back of their net or very, very close to doing so.
Yeah.
But for the most part, they played such a sound game. I love to see it. And you mentioned the veterans chipping in. It's about damn time.
True.
Like the Islanders game, the Oliver Moore line was the Hawks' best line by a mile. And they were good again tonight. But again, multi-points for Donato. Burakovsky finally, and not that he had anything. I don't want to take anything away from 2 assists, but they were not like he made it happen.
Right, no, they're power play assists, but that's what he does. He gets points on the power play. Listen, you take those points, obviously, yeah. But outside of those 2 plays, another kind of invisible night, except for when he missed the net when Jake Ottinger was completely rolling around in the crease and he missed the net by 12 feet.
Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah, but he made up for it with his 2 assists, and it's good seeing this where Tuesday was that kid line leading the way. Tonight it's the veteran. So every night it's a different. Let's keep that going when Bedard and Nazar get here, where those guys don't have to do everything.
Well, right, and you
let
also
let Mikheyev come in and have a big game, or let Nick Lardis have a big game to take some pressure off of those 2 guys.
And I think this is, if you're looking for a silver lining, it's very, very faint. It forces the Hawks to not depend on those guys and say, you guys do it. Especially Bedard. You account for 49% of our offense. That's the number if you missed it. Connor Bedard, before the injury, December 12th, factored in on 49% of the Hawks' goals, either an assist or a goal. That's crazy. And I think what we're seeing now over the last few games is them realizing, okay, we've got to play this system that Jeff Blashill has been preaching since day one, but I want to see it continue when Bedard and Nazar come back. They can play that way too. It shouldn't look different when your 2 best offensive players come back. Now, they do add a little level of dynamicism.
Sure.
Dynasticness.
I'll allow it. That first word sounded much better.
I think you know what I'm saying. Dynamic. They're dynamic players. So, Bedard's got the ability, and Nazar to a lesser extent, to kind of weave through the zone and create things. So it's going to look a little bit different. But I wanted to stay in that straightforward, control the puck, win the possession game, win your board battles. That's why the Blackhawks have been playing better over their last handful of games here and hanging in there against some pretty decent teams. Look, you beat Dallas twice. You were right there with the Islanders, right? You lose in a shootout. That's a coin flip. And you got the Pittsburgh game where when you look on paper, aside from the goals that Spencer Knight gave up, many of which were soft, probably 3 of the 4, they were right there with the Penguins too. So keep this up. And I'm glad to see that they're getting results instead of just moral victories in these performances. Like, oh, well, you hung in there with one of the best teams in the league. And at the end of the night, you lost 4-2, but at least you really hung in there with them. No, you beat them. You beat them twice. In this game,
in a week,
this is a pretty convincing win over Dallas. Again, final score is 4-3, but 2 goals late with the empty net. The Hawks were in control of this game for 56 minutes.
Yeah, for sure. They were that you had even said when Mikheyev scored that his second goal made 4-1. You were just like, hey, that's a big goal, and it turned out to be the game winner. But yeah, it was nice seeing them come out in that third period and keep going, because we've seen them a lot this year where they get that lead and they kind of go to playing on the heel. They go to play prevent defense.
Right.
You can't do that against Dallas. They're too good, too talented, too deep to do that. So I was happy to see them come out in the third period to get that goal, increase that lead. And, as a couple people in the chat have said, it's the new dad bump for Ilya Mikheyev.
I got someone on Twitter said he needs to have kids more often.
Well, you pretty much can only have about one every hockey season.
Yeah.
By rule. Unless you have twins or triplets, but
that's right.
New dad bump for Ilya Mikheyev a game later, but there's lots of things to be happy about since the holiday break. 2 wins over the Stars, 1 in each building. We've talked about the Pittsburgh and the Islanders game a lot, but this team is fighting through adversity. And
that's
that resiliency word that we used so much in the beginning of the season is back. Now this team has confidence again. You know, they believe they can beat anybody on any given night. They still need a lot of things to go their way. They still need a few breaks here and there, but that's fine. You know, good teams make their own breaks and take advantage of them. So they're building some momentum here, and hopefully in the next day or two, we get some good news on Connor Bedard, and he's, you know, back in a couple of weeks. And Frank Nazar, another day off the calendar. You know, he was at morning skate today, hanging out with the Make-A-Wish kids, smiling and laughing and looking good. So, you know, keep this play going, and then by the middle of the month, who knows? Maybe you got both of those guys back, and you know you're 4 points out of the wild card spot. You haven't completely fallen off the earth there. You know, it's still a long shot, but the expectation for us was to play meaningful games after the Olympic break, and you've got a chance to still do that.
So you're right, and this is I know we're gonna get some slack for this, and we probably should.
Whatever.
They are, by definition, 4 points out of the playoffs.
Not by definition, by the math.
They have 6 teams to jump,
which is difficult.
But who of these, if Bedard and Nazar are back and healthy and performing at the level at which we are used to them performing, and maybe Nazar even a little more than he had before the injury, St. Louis, Seattle, Calgary, Nashville. I think the Hawks with Bedard and Nazar are better than all those teams.
Yeah, Nashville's getting trucked by Seattle right now.
Utah, I would say Utah is probably a little better than the Hawks, a little bit deeper. LA, veteran, probably a little bit better. And then San Jose is the top wildcard spot with 43 points. So it's not insurmountable.
No,
you're also going to have Nashville's going to start selling off. Yeah. Calgary's going to start selling off. So at least those two. St. Louis probably should consider starting to sell off because they're not going anywhere anytime soon.
Their general manager's an idiot, so I hope he doesn't.
That's true. That'd be great.
He's he's an idiot.
And look, we're not trying to sell you. Just to be clear here, we're not trying to sell you any hope that the Hawks are going to make the playoffs. But there's a 99.9% chance that it's not going to happen. And
but a week ago, they were the worst team in the league, and fire Kyle Davidson, and the rebuild's a bust. And here we are, 4 games after the break.
Yeah, and
you're feeling a lot better about what's going on right now, and encouragement that they're getting back on track without their 2 best players. So when they get those 2 best players back, ideally that should make you a better team. Now, we've seen it before where, a talented player comes back and everybody goes back to the way it was.
That's
we're just going to let these guys do it all. So, but listen, you should be feeling a lot better about where things are right now. They haven't completely crumbled. It looked like they were going to.
Right.
But they needed some time to figure out new line combinations, to gel a little bit, guys playing with new guys, all that stuff I talked about earlier. That takes time, and now you're starting to, reap the rewards of this starting to come together a little bit. So, the feeling right now on January 1st is a lot better than it was on December 23rd when you lost to the Flyers and you had no offense and all that stuff. So, we're talking a little over a week, and this stuff is, it's trending in the right direction. And now I'm not cringing when it's like, oh man, the Blackhawks are playing tonight.
Oh
God.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit here and have to watch another awful effort. But
all you want to see is them without their 2 best players be competitive. Win, lose, fine. If Dallas had come back in this game and won it, that would have absolutely sucked, and the tone of this would have been totally different. But the fact that you're seeing them hang in there, compete, and not completely fold the tents. After that, so he gets hurt. Bedard gets hurt December 12th. December 13th, the Red Wings come in here and just kick the crap out of the Hawks. It's the second half of a back-to-back. It's 4-0, and then they lose at Toronto a few days later, 3-2, and you're like,
a game you should have won.
Right. And you're starting to feel like, oh boy, here we go. Now it's just going to completely fall apart. Then Montreal beats them. Then Ottawa beats them. And it's like, oh geez. They had every excuse to tuck their tails and quit. Yeah, and they didn't.
6-game losing streak, but they've got points in 3 out of their last 4 since that 6-game losing streak.
Yeah. All right, we are going to tell you about our Game Puck nominees presented by our friends at Game Day Men's Health. We've got 3 nominees today. Ilya Mikheyev with a pair of goals, and boy, he just missed an empty netter, hit the inside of the goalpost, Rick Ball said. So he's obviously one of the nominees. Artyom Levshunov with a second game in a row where he was absolutely outstanding. I definitely want to start the next segment focusing on Levshunov because digging into the numbers on him, it's really, really impressive. And the other star we had was Ryan Donato, who had a pair of assists as well. So get those votes in. We'll reveal the winner at the end of the show. Do us a favor, hit that like button. We are 31 away from activating Noodle Man. So let's get there. We'll talk to you in 2 minutes on CHGO Blackhawks. Our friends at Sunnyside Dispensary are here to elevate your football season. It's already very elevated, but you can always add a little more elevation. Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free shopping. They've got a huge selection with over 100 different strains on the menu at any given time with easy online ordering and in-store pickup. And wherever you are in Illinois, there's a Sunnyside by you, Wrigleyville. There's one downtown, South Beloit, Champaign. They're everywhere, easy to find. Stop into the one nearest you for their expert guidance from their staff. They'll make you feel very educated in your purchase. Head to their website for Bright Buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Hear that again. 50% off your first 3 online purchases with our code HICHGO at checkout. Returning customers use CHGO50. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Dispensary, Bright Buys every day, only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders. And whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. And with Bet365's early payout offer, you're a winner if your NFL team goes up by 17 points with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. So download the app, use our code CHGO365 when you sign up. They've got that $365K Sunday Night Football jackpot. Become part of it. Take home some of that money. And breaking news from Bet365, new customers now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. So sign up, use our code CHGO365, deposit $10, place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose, and use those bonus bets on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. You must be 21 plus. If you or somebody you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, and this offer is in-app only. All right, we are back on CHGO Blackhawks. Thanks for hitting that like button. Definitely want to mention Game Day Men's Health again. I could not find the read, but Chloe found the read for me. So throw that on the screen for me so I can read it there. Chlo. Yeah, the actual text. Remember you said? There you go. Oh, I didn't know you put it in there. All right, here. Better father, better husband, better man. Go to Game Day Men's Health. Visit GameDayCHGO.com to find locations nearest to you. So we'll reveal the winner of that game puck later on in the show. All right, Artyom Levshunov, one of our game puck nominees. Here is the line today. A goal, 18-17 of ice time, 2 shots, 7 shot attempts, 2 hits, and was credited with a giveaway. I don't know what happened to him before the Islanders game, but the last 2, he's in effort mode where he says, you know what I'm going to do right now is just take over this shift, and I'm going to control the puck. You're not going to take it from me, and I'm going to, at worst, create a whole hell of a lot of chaos in front of the net by sinking my shot through. His shot is so quick off the stick. It's not like Bedard, not like that. But you saw the last couple games where he sort of walked in against the Islanders. He hit the crossbar with that shot. Today he scored, where it's just a quick flick of the wrist, and it's accurate, on net, and fast. The goals are going to start stacking up for this kid soon.
Yeah, I think putting that one in tonight will help, and you can kind of see what his celebration was like. Yes, damn it.
Yeah.
Like after the last game where he hit 2 posts. And that was a great play too, where he got the puck, came down. It was a power play. And, he just waited it out. Like there was chaos going on in front of him. He could have shot it right away, but he kind of pulled back and let the lane open and then got it through. That's the kind of stuff on a power play, is being able to get the puck through is great to be able to do on a consistent basis, but it's just confidence. I mean, when it comes to young players, their biggest enemy most of the time is themselves.
Yeah.
Their biggest struggles are between their own ears. And, you've got to tell these kids like, hey, yeah, you're in the NHL, but do what you did to get to the NHL when you're here. Play instinctual, stop thinking,
right,
and just go out and play, do what you do. And he's been doing this a little bit more and more. Now he's just full on playing with his instincts, playing to the best of his ability. You're not seeing the, unsureness with him. You're not seeing that. You're not seeing the hamster wheel spin on the ice. It's great to see. This is what Jeff Blashill's been trying to get him to do. And he's said it, the way he explains things is just like, he doesn't necessarily go by like the flat stats, even the metrics. He likes to say, well, yeah, you could be credited with being on the ice for a scoring chance or a scoring chance against, but did you create that chance, or were you just standing there? Or did you create that chance against, or were you just unfortunately on the ice at the same time? He looks into that, and he said he's been on the positive end of those types of stats more of late, and that's all you want. Impact the game positively.
I'm glad you said that because, I think sometimes there's a bit of an eye roll when the Hawks are like, well, we have our own internal analytics, and when you're looking at Natural Stat Trick or you're reading from JFresh or wherever you choose to go for your analytics, these are all like kind of what am I trying to say? Like they're kind of like skimmed from stat sheets. Where it's not like there's no one at Natural Stat Trick watching the Hawks game with a pen and paper marking chances, and no, they're going through box scores,
it's an algorithm,
play by plays. It is a skimmer. But what the Hawks do, and they have the luxury of doing this, is they watch. They have several video coaches watch every shift, mark things that happen, and then the coaching staff reviews and says, "Okay, here's what I see here. Here's what I see here." And the players now can grab an iPad and say, "Show me, in shorthanded situations with this is the opponent. This is the to the smallest detail." So they have a different level of intensity in tracking their own analytics. So it's what you're saying. Yeah, Artyom Levshunov might have been on the ice for the goal against, but if he had his guy covered and tied up in front of the net and a point shot goes in, that's not Levshunov's fault. He cleared the crease for the goalie, tied up the guy he's supposed to tie. So that's the sort of stuff they can go through and look at and say, okay, he's doing the right thing. And look, a couple days ago, Blashill said early in the season he was up here, and then it started to get a little more towards the bad side, and now it's going back up again. They are so fully invested in Artyom Levshunov. That is a pick for Kyle Davidson that is going to be a big part of the judgment of his tenure as Hawks GM.
Oh, he is. It has been.
It has been, exactly. But like, if Artyom Levshunov doesn't become a number one defenseman, then that is going to be a tick against Kyle Davidson. Even if he grows up even if he develops to be really good or pretty good or like an occasional all-star, Levshunov has to be a true number one. It doesn't mean Cale Makar. It doesn't mean it doesn't mean top 5 defense Duncan Keith necessarily, but Brent Seabrook, he's got to be like at least Brent Seabrook, right?
Yeah, I mean, but when you look at what they've got going now, he should be the number one defenseman. I think he's the best defenseman they have. Like with his ceiling, he's got the highest ceiling. He could be the best. He could be the number one defenseman by the end of the season. He's, Renzel is. I don't think his ceiling's number one defenseman. Alex Vlasic's not a number one. He and Louis Crevier they've been riding the struggle bus of late.
Yeah, a little bit.
Not have a good game tonight. They're not a shutdown pair, and they're being played as if they are. And I get it to a degree because the other two, you don't have a shutdown pair.
I need 13-foot of defenseman to be physical.
I
can't have Alex Vlasic getting out-muscled by Wyatt Johnson behind the net with the freaking game on the line. Lean on somebody.
Being really tall and having a long reach does not automatically make you a good defenseman. It makes you hard to get around, but it doesn't make you a good defenseman. So, yes, put your hip into somebody.
Right.
Clear a guy out of the crease. Louis Crevier, not good tonight. That first period got knocked on his ass by Jason Robertson. Later in that shift, he looks like a half a step slow.
Yeah.
Like just
now, in fairness, they were defending the Stars best.
True. Yes.
So there's something to that.
They probably shouldn't have been. But anyway, they
yeah.
Then later in that shift, like he was unaware that there was a forechecker coming in, and he gave up the puck right behind us. The Rantanen goal.
Yeah.
Where's he going on that play?
Well, and that makes Dickinson look bad because
Right.
Dickinson's kind of caught halfway, and then he's got a.
Rantanen makes a great play to stick lift on Jason Dickinson, but if Louis Crevier is where he's supposed to be and not trying to get aggressive,
right?
Mikko Rantanen wants you to be aggressive in the neutral zone because he's going to do exactly what he did.
Yes.
You've got to be smarter there. There are a couple other plays where it's just guys getting inside of him constantly. He took the interference penalty, which by the book interference penalty, but Jamie Benn does that 4 times a game and never gets called.
Right.
So Crevier has been a really fun story. I really like the progression, and he's been solid for much of the year, but he... You know, you just talk about Levshunov. It was up here, and then it's down here. Well, it's kind of down here for Crevier and Vlasic. So I don't know if you switch them up. You know, what changes would you make? Put Levshunov with Vlasic and see what happens?
I mean, but I like the way the other pairs are playing.
Yeah, exactly. So I think they're together. So, listen, Jeff Blashill had no problem giving Artyom Levshunov a healthy scratch earlier in the season. Scratched Sam Rinzel twice.
Yeah.
Maybe... Next game,
I don't
Louis
know.
Crevier takes the night off to reset, and you put Ethan Del Mastro out there for a game, who's sitting doing nothing.
I mean, even if you need an excuse, you just tell Crevier, we've got to get Del Mastro in.
Yeah.
We got a lot of games in a row here. Take a little bit of a break. You're doing great. It's not a punishment, but we got to get Del Mastro in. Okay, cool. Great. And look, like I talked to Crevier a couple weeks ago about his improvement this year for Blackhawks Beat. If you go to allchgo.com, you can read it.
He's still a young defenseman learning.
But he says, like, a big adjustment for him has been the grind. So, okay, we're in a very grindy part of the schedule. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying that he needs to be benched or sent down to Rockford, but
he's been solid, but this is a point of the year where this is the most hockey he's ever played consecutively in his career.
Yes.
Might be time to give him a night off, especially on back-to-backs. Let him have a night off, reset, recharge.
It worked really well for Levshunov.
Yeah, it worked pretty good for Rinzel. That first couple games back, he looked better. So, like, yeah, I'm not saying trade Louis Crevier. I'm not saying he needs to, never play again, but he's been struggling lately. That pairing has been struggling lately. I need more from those guys. As you said, I mean, Alex Vlasic, we talked about this before going on the air about Vlasic, how because of his talent and because of his size, he never had to be physical coming up through.
He was Andy Reid in the punt passing kick
Yeah.
contest. You ever seen that, Chloe? I'll send it to you. You can put it on the show.
Playing in the I can't get that picture out of my head now. Playing Chicago Mission, he was bigger and faster and better than everybody else. Playing in the development program, he was bigger and faster and better than everybody else. So he never really had to get that edge to his game. And he doesn't need to be Scott Stevens out there for you younger viewers. Go on YouTube and put, Scott Stevens, Eric Lindros in your browser. And he doesn't have to be that.
Pick one.
But just, make it life difficult. Hit somebody. Don't let guys just stand in front of your net. Clear it out.
All right, we have the picture of young Andrew Reid. This is a real photo.
He's 9.
Andy Reid in a fun passing kick contest.
And that kid is literally,
that kid is his age. That is the greatest.
How old was he in that? Hold on.
I think he was like 12. Okay, put it up again, please. I gotta look at it again. It just delights me. Whenever I'm in a bad mood, I just look at the Andy Reid. There is video of this.
Are those like
too.
the uniforms you used to be able to order out of the Sears Wish book, where it was like the plastic helmet and pads?
He also throws the ball to outer space in the video.
He was 13 years old in that picture.
Anyway, the point being,
good choice of numbers.
The point being that when you're that big, that young, you don't have to be physical. You just stick your arm out and the guy falls down. Alex Vlasic, I want to see him become. You got to find what my old buddy Doug Buffon used to call the Neanderthal gene. You've got to be able to turn it on for 60 minutes a couple times a week and lean into some people and knock some people out the puck. I do not want Wyatt Johnston again in the waning minutes and of a 1-goal game pushing Alex Vlasic off the puck. That can't happen.
Right. I want Crevier and Vlasic to be more than just guys with long reaches who use their stick. I want them to use those giant bodies to make life difficult for anybody who's not wearing the same jersey you are.
100%. All right, we got to hit the break zone one more time. Mario is going to join us shortly. We got Ryan Donato we want to hear from as well. We have a ton of super chats to get to, so lots to do. Not a lot of time to do it. Hit that like button. Back in 2 minutes on CHGO Blackhawks. The holidays came and went very quickly. Kids going back to school. You're going to be going back to work soon. Ugh. Well, you know what? You don't have a lot of time to cook, which is where Factor Meals comes in handy. I love Factor Meals. They've got quality, functional ingredients that include lean proteins, colorful veggies, whole food ingredients, and healthy fats. They've got no refined sugars, no artificial sweeteners, no refined seed oils. They've got over 100 rotating weekly meals that include high protein, calorie smart Mediterranean GLP-1 support, and ready-to-eat salads. It's always fresh, never frozen, and ready in about 2 minutes. Head to factormeals.com/CHGO50off and use the code CHGO50off to get, you guessed it, 50% off your first Factor box plus free breakfast for a year. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing sub. Make healthier eating easy with Factor. And we also want to tell you about our friends at Game Day Men's Health. Whether it's peak performance or becoming a better father, a better husband, or a better man, Game Day Men's Health wants to support you in every way they can with personalized care tailored to your goals. So, bedroom issues, you don't want that. Maybe your hair's thinning a little bit. You don't want that. Maybe you're just trying to be generally healthier. Well, it's a very quick and easy process at Game Day Men's Health. You'll be in and out in an hour. It's personal care and family and locally owned clinics with a really, really great success rate. Feel better and have more energy with testosterone, vitamin supplements, weight loss, and hair loss treatments. This feels very targeted to me. I feel attacked. Start your best life with Game Day Men's Health. Scan the QR code on your screen right there. Right there. Or go to GameDayCHGO.com to find locations closest to you. And Taking the Temp is presented by your trusted local experts at Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit FourSeasonsHeatingCooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's FourSeasonsHeatingCooling.com. I think, Chloe, we're going to see them in the office tomorrow because something is not right with our HVAC system in the men's room. It's not attached. Is that bad?
I've never taken any kind of HVAC training, but I would think that's bad.
I'm going to say that's bad job.
I would think the thing that creates the warm air needs to be connected to the pipes that distribute the warm air.
Interesting.
But there's no warm air anyway.
But that's the thing. Maybe that's why it's so cold in here tonight.
But this is from today.
Right. We got to get the tubes attached. I almost did never mind. I almost made a gesture that I can't. This one. Which did it show anyway? Damn it. Anyway, we do want to mention, by the way, Miro Heiskanen getting the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Just whooping the ass of the glass in front of the right between the benches there. I don't think I've ever seen that.
I've never seen that before either.
And glass doesn't really shatter anymore.
I mean, he must have put his...
I'll bet he hit it with like the heel of the blade. Or maybe he...
The butt end and just caught it in a
just
pressure point. And
good thing Panger wasn't there.
Good thing Panger was there. But I've had multiple people in my Twitter feed. I didn't see it happen, but somebody had said that the two Make-A-Wish kids who were the guests of the team today were sitting there at the time, which is not good.
That should be a 4-minute then.
That should be kicked out of the league forever. Or
forced to play
for the Blackhawks as punishment.
That's it. What's worse?
Yeah.
All right, we got a bunch of super chats we got to get to. Let's do that. Thank you all so much for the super chats, by the way. Brandon Clemens says, what a way to end the birthday with the Hawks win. Happy New Year's, y'all. Happy birthday, Brandon. Thank you for the $5. We appreciate that. Aaron Jordan says, Frank Saravalli looks and sounds like a grown-up Ralph Wiggum. Hard to point out any Hawks having a bad game tonight. They all wanted this win so bad. I don't know where the Frank Saravalli...
Oh, he must have been on, I think he was on the post-game show. The inferior post-game show.
Yeah, the one people watch is here. Aaron Jordan again, $2 says, Jay, the word you were looking for is dynamism. Yeah, that makes sense.
This is dinosaurs.
Dynamism. Yeah, I like that. All right, thanks. I'll forget it.
Just say really good next
Really
time.
good. Really exciting. Brandon with another $5 says, Happy New Year, gentlemen. Wishing both of you all the best in 2026 and more Hawks wins. Did Oliver Moore show he is a much more versatile player? Versatility has never been a concern for me with Oliver Moore. My concern with Oliver Moore is, can he score at this level consistently?
Yeah.
And we did the math the other day. He's on like 0.3 points per game or something like that.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, he's got what, 13
Let me see. I'm looking it up.
or 12. And
If we count last year, 15 points in 37 games. This year, 11 and 28.
yeah, so that's almost, that's about 0.4.
Actually, it'd probably be 11 and 29 now because NHL.com is.
Yeah.
So let's try that. That's 11 divided by 29 times 82. That's a 31-point pace.
Not the best, but
Yeah, but I think it will certainly
rookie.
go up as he
I would
gets
hope.
more comfortable.
I
Yes.
would- But he's played better since moved to the center these last 2 games.
I think so. Significantly.
Yeah, and I think some of that, I mean, you might, playing center is much more difficult than playing wing.
Yeah.
Especially for a rookie. But it seems to have maybe made him play a little more instinctual, like we were talking about with Levshunov earlier. Because he played a lot of center at Minnesota, played a lot of center coming up. So, that could be something that makes him more comfortable, where he likes being in that role of having more responsibility.
Yeah. A couple more super chats before we bring Mario in. Corey, $5 says, really happy for the team. They and us needed this win. Also, hashtag roll tide, smiley face. Yep, they got rolled all right. Thank God they got into the playoff.
Oh, let it go.
Hapcat13, $10 says, love that they can frustrate a great team. Rebuild coming together. Bedard will be motivated to prove Doug Armstrong wrong and show he can gel with the team like tonight. Plus, he can recover more. Win-win. Thank you, Hepcats. And then Edward points out that the DLLS Stars postgame show headline is Stars winless streak hits 4 games with 4-3 defeat in Chicago. That's sweet.
I just thought that was funny.
Winless is a really weird way to say losing.
Losing streak.
Winless streak makes it sound less shitty.
I bet it's probably an overtime loss or something there, right?
Yeah, it's still a loss.
It's a loss to me.
They lost to the Red Wings in overtime before the break.
Yes.
And now they've lost to the mighty Blackhawks.
Well, they're bad, and
twice.
they should sell.
Yes, they should trade Jason
Robertson
for
and Rantanen to the Hawks for Korchinski. Who says no?
I mean, if they're getting Korchinski, they need to throw in Heiskanen too.
It's only fair.
We need to replace him on the blue line. So yeah, I'm for it.
It's only fair. All right, let's go out to United Center and bring in Mario Tirabassi, who is covering all the post-game festivities. We've not had a chance to hear from any of the Hawks players. We got a million super chats, which we always appreciate. So before we get to Jeff Blashill, I saw Mikheyev, Burakovsky, and Donato all spoke. Anything stand out to you from those 3 guys?
First off, why is gigantic child Andy Reid in Slack?
Can we show it again?
I'm
Just in case people are just joining us.
I have
Jay,
questions.
we were that's 13-year-old Andy Reid in the punt, pass, and kick competition. Jay
Yes.
made the reference of when we were talking about Alex Vlasic, how he never really needed to be physical playing in like AAA and like juniors because he was always the biggest kid on the ice. So he made that reference. So we needed the visualization.
People have to know what we're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Alex Vlasic and Andy Reid's builds are a little different as they've grown up. But yes,
Feel free to make that the background on your phone, your lock screen on your phone. Now that you have access to the picture.
Sure. No, I've seen that before.
By the way, before you start, Mario, we should address this. A bunch of people asking, why did we not get a Bedard update today? You don't typically get injury updates on game days. And they're very, very strict about you only can ask questions about the game. And if you ask questions that are not about the game, you get your pee-pee slapped. And that's bad. You don't want that. So if there was pee-pee slapped, if there was practice tomorrow, which there's not, we would get an update on Connor Bedard because we were told in the new year, reevaluate. We are in the new year. So next time there's a practice,
all the
we'll get an
were
update.
closed today. It's January 1st.
Yeah, exactly.
They're ducking the question. That's why they canceled.
But I will
practice.
say, before the Islanders game, Frank Saravalli said that they expect Bedard back in the middle of January. So if you say the 5th, I actually wrote about this for ALLCITY.com coming out tomorrow. That'd be 11 games he'd play in before the Olympic break if he came back on January 15th. So that's not an insignificant number. Anyway, sorry.
No, and as we've heard with the discourse around these countries picking their teams for the Olympics, rosters are going to be set, quote unquote, but there's still a month of hockey to play. So anything can happen. You don't wish for injuries, but they do happen. And if Bedard's able to get back on the ice and play, and something happens where a roster spot opens up, you'd have to imagine he's going to be someone that they call as an injury replacement. So
yeah,
we'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
And
I think the first what's the first practice going to be then? If they don't practice Friday, they got game Saturday, Sunday, Monday would be the next practice, right?
But they're not going to practice.
Yeah, they're not practicing. So and they play Saturday and Sunday. So I would imagine Monday will be a day off too. So I don't know.
Jeff Blashill is not going to like this lack of practice.
Yeah. Hey, can't argue with the result though tonight. They didn't practice yesterday, and look what happened. Yep. Cancel practices for the rest of the year.
Yeah, maybe they just shouldn't practice.
They're just practicing too much, obviously.
Yeah. No, I mean it was a good game tonight. I think the goals at the end make you feel a little squirrely, but all in all, like, you're still very happy with start to finish how they played, and that's a contrast from their last game where they didn't start well and then had to fight from behind. And tonight they were actually able to land the first punch and build upon that. And I think that's a big thing. Ryan Donato after the game said that even though there are cliches in hockey, when you do those things, you find success. Like, that's why they're cliches. And he felt like they did a really good job of doing those things tonight. Getting the puck on net. Like, they had a shooting mentality tonight. Jeff Blashill actually talked about that after the game as well. And I think that set up the energy they needed for tonight against a Stars team that, even in their recent stretch and having just beat them in the shootout, this is still a team that you're going to look at and say, they're a contender. They're a cup contender. They're a contender in the West. Like, 2 losses to the Blackhawks aren't going to sink your season. So Blashill after the game, speaking about playing on your toes and that shooting mentality, I think he was really happy to see it kind of play out the way that he addressed the team and said that they needed to play.
I think it does help get you on your toes. If you have a shooting mentality, it kind of gets you on your toes because you have to have movement towards the net in order to get those pucks back. So I do think it's something that can kind of get you on your toes a little bit. And one of the messages going into tonight was getting on our toes a little bit more. I think we've been in a situation where we've kind of backed up just a little too much. There's certainly times when you have to. We wanted to be on our toes a little bit more, and I thought we did that. And certainly the shooting mentality helps that.
The shooting mentality is something we've talked about seemingly all season, even when this team was fully healthy, where it was maddening. And I think a couple weeks ago, did Blashill say it's nonsensical or something about shots they weren't taking? I think he was talking specifically about a Tavo play where he said we had a prime scoring chance, then we pass it to an area where there was not a player standing. It's nonsensical. I think that's the word he used. There has been a very big difference in a concerted effort to just get the puck on net. And, I mean, we talked about early in the show the opportunity that Burakovsky had where he shot it over Jake Ottinger. That was, again, Levshunov creating a chance, is getting a puck to the net. And then all hell broke loose right in front. We saw it at the end of the Islanders game, too, where Nick Foligno didn't have as much time he had more time than he thought and wasn't able to score. That, again, was throwing the puck at the net, trying to make things happen. And what we said to start the show, Mario, is it's good that they're getting results from this, that when they have started to adopt these changes, that they've gotten points from it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing with, the lessons that Jeff Blashill's trying to implement is that you get results from it. And that, like, solidifies those things. Because you can preach, so many things, but if you keep getting negative results, losses, everything like that, like, it gets hard to kind of stick with it. So he keeps preaching, the process and things. And when the players play within that structure and that system, and they have the mentality of attacking and shooting, a lot of times, like, their speed on this roster and the way that they want to play, guys like Tyler Bertuzzi and Oliver Moore, and using that speed, Mikheyev as well, like guys that can kind of hunt pucks after you get your shooters and your skill guys to try and put them on net. Like, that's going to keep the puck in your zone longer, and that's going to tire out the your opponent, and that's going to put you at an advantage. And there were a couple times tonight, Jay, I know you pointed out at one point in the game, but in the third period too as well, like there were a couple times where the third line and the fourth line were getting extended offensive zone shifts and chances because they just kept hunting the puck, and it was puck on net, shot gets blocked or it gets saved to the corner, they go and get it, ring it around the backboards, picks up by a defenseman, they get it back either on net or back deep, forward behind the net makes a play. Like they were just really trying to attack and trying to have a shooting mentality, and it worked from your top end guys down to your fourth line guys. So I'm glad that they are playing that way recently, and of course getting the results. Like it's going to keep these guys extra motivated to continue playing that style because hey, it's working.
We're talking about shot attempts in that segment there. Blackhawks had 55 total shot attempts tonight, which is slightly above their season average of they're just over 52 a game. They have the fourth fewest shot attempts in the NHL. So, they need. You got to have the puck more first. I mean, I'm no expert, but you can't have shot attempts when you're chasing the puck around in your own zone. But they've been able to do that, as you pointed out, Mario. They've had extended shifts because they're winning board battles. They're doing those little things. So hopefully they can get that number, that average up as the season progresses.
Yeah, and shot attempts are great, but I mean, hitting the net is also necessary too. It was a little frustrating. I know we can laugh about it now. At least I can because they won the game. But it was a little frustrating coming out of the first period. They had 24 shot attempts and 6 were on net, and I was just like, "Oh my god!" I feel like I heard the glass behind the Stars' net, the puck hitting the glass. I heard that more than 6 times with the shots on goal in the first period. But I'm it's baby steps. I'm glad that they're shooting more than they have been recently.
We talked about Levshunov and how well he's played, and I see that Blashill talked about the power play too. One thing we've not really mentioned is you scored 2 power play goals on this team, and if you're looking for a way to keep a lesser skilled team in the game, having power play success will do it. When you get those opportunities, capitalize on them, and for the most part, they've been doing it. And I think there's been, as we talked about the frustration with the lack of shooting, the power play has been much more. The zone entries have been way better. Still frustrating now and again, but there's another team out there killing penalties, right? But the zone entries have been way better, way more aggressive, way faster. I'm wondering if Blashill brought that up at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ben Pope had the stat that since Bedard has been out, they were coming into tonight 1 for 18 on the power play. So you get 2 goals tonight. And yeah, I mean, it's, we've seen throughout the year, like when this team gets set up on the power play, like they can be pretty effective. It's just the getting set up part was a challenge. But, without Frank Nazar, without Connor Bedard, Jeff Blashill has just kind of rolled with, getting young guys and different guys new opportunities. And here's what he had to say about the power play and Levshunov specifically, who got his second goal on the power play tonight.
We haven't made any major adjustments. I would say we went through a stretch that was rough, that we didn't create many chances, and I thought we slowly started to create some chances. And sometimes it just takes a little bit of chemistry. Obviously, on the one unit, we put Morsey on there, we put the Fliggy back on there, so it's a little different look. On the other unit, it's been somewhat the same. Made a little bit of a tweak in where guys are at, but overall, I think it's just a little bit of chemistry building. And I think Arty's done a really good job in his 5-on-5 game, and that's mirrored his power play game. He looks like he's attacking the game offensively more, which is what we want out of him, and he's showing that real good poise up on the blue line and doing a good job of that.
He's never really shy about shooting, but how important is it for him to see him go in?
Yeah, there's zero doubt about that. We were talking earlier. It's something that we I'm kind of focused on continuing to work with him on is his shot mechanics, because I think there's things that could improve there that can help elevate his ability to shoot even to a higher level. He gets a lot of chances, and he's had a lot of chances on those areas, so it's great to see it go in. It's a huge thing for confidence, and I think it kind of reinforces the way he's been playing. When you get rewarded with points, it's a good reinforcement.
I like how he calls it just attacking the game, and that's exactly what he's doing. I think I said earlier in the game, he's in FU mode, where he just says, I'm just going to take this puck and do what I want with it, and you're not going to stop me. And when you see him do that, we've talked a lot about like young players flashing. You want to see those moments like, oh, that's why he was chosen number 2. There, right there is what you're looking at. When that starts to become the norm for him, I mean, that's the number 1 defenseman you hope you're getting with the number 2 overall pick.
Yeah, and one of the things that we've said about Levshunov is, the urgency in his game, and he had it tonight, and he's had it a little bit more consistently the last few games, and you see the kind of player he can be. So again, talk about learning lessons and having things sink in for these players because of results. Hopefully that's something that young Artyom is realizing, like, hey, like, yes, I'm in the NHL, but it doesn't stop there. Like, I've got to continually be ready to go every night, every shift, and have that urgency and that attack mindset for him and across the board for the team. But specifically talking about him, like, hopefully he can see that, like, that style of game is going to take him beyond what his raw talents are right now, and will help mold him into a more well-rounded defenseman as he gets further into his career. Doing it more consistently can only give him more confidence and make him an even more dangerous player.
All right, we have about 10 minutes left in the show, and I think we've covered this game pretty well. I think the three of us should spend some time talking about Connor Bedard's Olympic snub. Want to play Jeff Blashill from the morning skate today, because this is a coach who was pretty pissed that Connor Bedard did not make the team. Here is Jeff Blashill this morning.
Yeah, I talked to him for a while yesterday. First off, I have a ton of respect for how hard these decisions are, and whether, honestly, Canada, the U.S., Sweden, like, you have a lot of really good players that you're going to ultimately leave off these teams. The one thing I would say is I don't think the rest of the league knows how good of a two-way winning hockey player Connor has become. And that's the one thing probably, and I don't know why, maybe it's based on previous years, but I don't think they have a full understanding of how good a winning hockey player he is today, as we sit here today. I've read some things about defensive metrics and things like that. I would tell you, I have studied those things tons. I've never seen a defensive metrics that I trust to say to me whether or not a guy's a good defensive player. I don't think they judge what they're supposed to judge yet. I don't think we're there yet. We're all working to try to get there. We're not there. The metric that I trust is your impact on winning. And the reason why I know he's a big-time winning hockey player, when he was in our lineup, we were 1 point out of the wild card, and since then we're 1-6-1. That's the impact he's had. That's the type of two-way player. You don't have that impact if you're just a point getter. You only have that impact if you're a true two-way kind of winning player, and that's what he's become.
There you have it. I mean, look, you get the out-of-town stupid. Look, I don't want to imply that like Doug Armstrong and his scouts or whatever didn't put in the work to. Of course they did. I get it. And look, you look at the Canadian goaltending situation, and you can sort of see why they might be prioritizing more defensive players. But you tell me,
I would be prioritizing, easy for me to say, goal scoring with those goaltenders.
You're telling me that you think Anthony Cirelli is going to help you win a gold medal more than Connor Bedard is?
Well, Anthony
John
Cirelli
Cooper
plays for John
believes
Cooper. Yeah, that's John Cooper's
Okay.
pick. That's not Doug
Fine.
Armstrong's
Then
pick.
that's a dumb pick. And it's
Sure.
a bad thought.
I like Anthony Cirelli a lot. He's a really good player, but is he one of the best 18 players?
Absolutely
in Canada? No.
not.
We're trying to build a team and not, we need a fourth line, shutdown line. I mean, I
But
understand.
you have you've got Mitch Marner. You've got guys on the team that can do that.
I understand that philosophy, but I don't think you need it for a short tournament like the Olympics.
Yeah, I mean, you look at, I always go back to Rick Nash when he played for those Team Canada teams, was like a fourth line guy. Like he was asked to be like a defensive guy. Like, hey, can you play a different role than being a top line 40 goal scorer like you usually do? And I think it worked out for those guys. They won golds. You want to be able to take the best players that you have available to you. And, you know, I think the injury gave them their out. They said, oh, he's hurt. Nah, what are you going to do? He's hurt. I think if Bedard was still playing, still healthy, I think he's on the team. So I think the injury gave them the out to leave him off. I think, you know, you saw Celebrini make the team, and the talk about him since he's been a draft prospect has been, his two-way game, comparables to Jonathan Toews and all that. And I'm not saying Macklin Celebrini is a bad player. Far from it. Like, he's phenomenal. He is a generational talent for the Sharks. And I just think, to Blashill's point, narratives around the league do influence how people perceive players. Because I think there's a narrative that, like, Macklin Celebrini is a shutdown two-way guy. And, like, yeah, he's a good defensive player, but he's nowhere near shutdown two-way defenseman at this stage of the game. He can get there, of course. And Connor Bedard, I feel like over the last 2 seasons has kind of been shown as this like all offense defensive liability. And this season under Jeff Blashill, he's been a completely different player. And that was the narrative around him for basically since October to present day, has been how different of a player he has been. The national narrative was changing. We saw how it like flipped on its head after that Blues win earlier this season. And I think that just didn't correlate to the rest of the decision makers for Hockey Canada, that like, hey, like Bedard's playing a different style. He's playing that elite level style at both ends of the ice. And he's always going to be this elite offensive talent, getting his defensive game from he's a teenager being a number one center on a bad team and he's not a great defender to start his career, up to he wins puck battles, he's able to play with speed, he's able to play stronger. And as Blashill points out, like the impact he has at both ends of the ice is a reason that we were even talking about playoffs for this team up until he got hurt.
Yeah. Look, I have no problem with Celebrini making it. Like, he's deserves it. He's been great. And is he better defensively than Bedard? Yeah. I don't think there's much question about that. But, like, I don't know. I feel like the decision was made before Bedard was able to prove anybody wrong. And that's frustrating. But, look, this is going to be, if the NHL continues in the Olympics, which we think they will, depending on how big of a disaster it is in Milan here, because things do not look great so far with the rink and all that. But if they continue playing, this will be the last Olympics that Connor Bedard does not play in. Like, there's no way in hell that in 2030, Connor Bedard is not going to be on the Olympic team. There's not. And I hope this is an opportunity for him to say, okay, you don't want me? Great. No, watch this.
Yeah, exactly. Play with a chip
enjoy
on
your
your shoulder.
enjoy your bronze medal.
Right. Watch me just light up any team Doug Armstrong is the general manager for, because I don't know how long his shelf life in St. Louis is left.
It's going great.
Just light them up. And, you know, there were a lot of people replying to the after those comments by Blashill were made about, he's not, this great defensive player. Well, he didn't say he's Patrice Bergeron. He just says he plays winning two-way hockey. He's doing a lot more of those little things. Right. And if you're not seeing that this year,
then you're not watching.
You're either not watching or you're only looking for what you want to see to help support your narrative. People in the chat are mentioning Celebrini and his takeaways, and he's got 22 takeaways in 40 games. Connor Bedard has 13 in 31 games. So, like, pace-wise, it's not that much different, And to me, takeaway, giveaway is a little bit of an objective stat. It's a guy in the booth saying, "Oh yeah, that's the right." He's doing a lot of little things, things that he wasn't doing those first 2 seasons, and he's really taken a shine to Blashill's philosophy and his coaching staff. And listen, I'm fine with Bedard not making it he deserves to be there. But in the big picture, him getting 3 weeks off in the middle of February to help rest his injured shoulder, because no matter what happens this season, that shoulder is going to be bothering all season.
Yeah.
It's not going to be 100% at any point in time. So to give him 3 weeks of not getting game contact in the, to prepare for a stretch run, which hopefully will include some meaningful games, I'm for it. I'm happy with that because I care more about him playing good for the Chicago Blackhawks than playing for Team Canada in the Olympics.
All right, we are going to head to overtime here on CHGO Blackhawks. So if you're watching us on your fast channels, your Rokus, etc., switch over to allchgo.com to continue the show. And by the way, I do know that Doug Armstrong said that injuries didn't play a role. Managers say a lot of things. They say a lot of things. It doesn't mean it. I think your point was it takes some pressure off them to put Bedard. Well, he's banged up though, so he probably shouldn't. And now if Bo Horvat is hurt, he left the game today. If he's hurt for an extended amount of time, maybe Bedard does sneak in. We don't know what the depth chart was of like the players cut and where he falls there. So we'll see. And I think they'll also evaluate. Okay, well, what was our if Bo Horvat can't go? And we don't know that, by the way, just for the record. We don't know what the extent of the injury is at all. He might play their next game. But if they envision Bo Horvat is, third line scoring depth or whatever it might be, then they'll probably try to find someone to replace that specific role. So maybe that's not Connor Bedard. So I don't know. For me, it takes away any sort of the complication of watching the Olympics because I have found myself way more invested in the World Juniors in Team Sweden than Team USA. No, nothing against AJ Spellisy. I love what AJ Spellisy is doing. And as you said to me during the game, like Colton Dock better be watching the World Juniors because there's the dude coming to take his job right there.
Yeah, I wouldn't. If I was Colton Dock and I'm watching what AJ Spellacy's doing, now granted, he's doing it against other teenagers. He's not doing that against NHLers. But if I'm Colton Dock, I'm trying to step it up a little bit because, that's a kid that will come here as soon as next training camp and say, I now have this role.
But are you guys with me on that? Are you also more Sweden-focused than U.S.-focused in the World Juniors?
Yeah. I mean, obviously
I do not miss the Sweden game.
I mean, obviously I want, the U.S. to win a third gold medal. That would be awesome. But Sweden, man, they are a hell of a team. You got the Frondell and, maybe a future teammate of his playing really well, too, on that team. So,
I love Stenberg. I love Viggo Bjork.
Yeah, they're a fun team, man.
Yeah.
I don't like the darker blue on their uniforms.
You don't like when they wear the blue, you're saying?
No, I don't like that the blue is darker than it used to be.
Oh, is it, though, or is it just like the screen? Is it just the NHL Network cameras?
It's
dark. No,
is it darker?
it's like a navy blue instead of the royal blue.
Yeah, you got to go with the – I mean, it's a flag color.
Yeah.
I don't get how you change that. That's why USA should never, ever change from what the World Juniors are wearing. Perfect. Yeah. No notes.
They're finally wearing it in the Olympics.
Yes. They look awesome.
Yeah, they're going to look good. Yeah, I mean, the tournament's been a lot of fun to watch. The Hawks prospects, all of them have been excelling. I'd even say Spellacy is overperforming. I'd say what I was expecting out of him. And let's not forget Vaclav Nestrasil, who hates to see where the puck is going to go when it's on his stick. He's making it
distracted. Happen. What's over there? Goal.
He's been awesome, and that Czechia team, man, like they are a force to be reckoned with. Like I think they're a dark horse team that can make some noise. And another guy that you're talking about Stenberg and Bjork. Like don't forget. Hawks got 2 current first-round picks. They might end up with 3 by the time we get to draft night. I'm liking watching Adam Novotny with Czechia as well. Like he's a guy that I think fits the Hawks style of the forward that can be tough to play against in multiple ways, both with skill and with speed and competitiveness. So Czechia games are fun to watch too. I feel like it's now that we're into the quarterfinals, like it's going to get real fun here, and it's going to be a bit of a tune-up for the international feel of the games as we head to the Olympics. So no, it's been a lot of fun. So I'm very happy that Olympic hockey is back to the best in the world on the men's side, having the NHL back involved.
Adam Novotny the son of Jan Novotny? NHL legend Jan Novotny. Anyone?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
Jan Novotny.
I'm not a Novotny family biographer, so I don't know.
Well, you know what? Step it up.
Elite prospects.
Should easily be able to find the answer to that.
I know, but I'm not seeing.
Well, while you look that useless fact
Thank
up,
you. I'm on it, everybody. Don't worry.
I'm excited for tomorrow. Quarterfinals should be a great day. What a tough first round draw where you have the rematch of last year's gold medal game, USA and Finland in the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
One of the powerhouses is going out in the quarters, but that's the way it goes, man. I mean, just to think if had Finland won against Canada, would the U.S. have played Canada, or would Canada been second? I think they might have been second in that pool. But anyway, it's going to be a great day of hockey tomorrow.
They might have, yeah. You might be right.
Which would have been a whole lot of fun.
Yeah.
Let's see if Canada can get past the vaunted tough quarterfinal round that they've struggled in so much the last. Good news is they don't have to play Czechia.
They don't have to play Latvia either.
Yeah, so we'll see. Should be fun. I can't wait. Another good reason to have no practice tomorrow is to just focus on World Juniors.
I'm going to Notre Dame hockey tomorrow.
Have fun with that.
Notre Dame and Western Michigan. Guess what it is? Blackhawks night.
Oh, you did follow.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, Jim Corneliuson's going to be there, and
Blackhawks / complain about not being in the college football playoff night. But that's every night at Notre Dame.
Oh, thank God we got Alabama in. Good job, Tide.
Well, we know Jeff Blashill is going to be excited tonight. He started his post-game press conference asking if anyone had an update on the Ole Miss game because his
daughter goes there, I believe.
Or I think his son.
Kids.
Yeah,
his son's older.
His oldest son goes to Ole Miss. They ended up winning. They got a last-second field goal. So
the Lane Kiffin bump.
I would love to see Ole Miss win the whole thing. Sans Lane Kiffin. Oh, that would be so fun.
That would be fun.
I wish I cared that much. But yeah, I get your point, though. That would be fun because I don't like Lane Kiffin.
All right, Mario.
Thanks. It's just so scummy to leave the program as you're in the college football play. What a scumbag. I hate Lane Kiffin too.
Well, he's shown his whole ass for years. This isn't a surprise.
Yeah, he's no Brian Kelly though. At least
he's never killed anybody yet
that we know of.
Yet,
yeah, allegedly. All right, we'll talk to you. Saturday? I don't know what day it is anymore. Is anyone else like this? What day is today?
Yeah,
it's
that.
Yeah,
between the lead up to Christmas up until a few days after New Year's, the calendar, it doesn't mean anything.
I had a sticky note on the corner of my computer at home today that said today is Thursday, just to keep me reminding. So it worked until I left the house and didn't have that.
Yes.
Reminder.
And Windy City Hockey says Lane Kiffin sounds like a CHGO Pudwack.
Sure does.
Add him to the list.
Yes, he is definitely on the board of trustees of the village of Pudwackistan.
Yes, he is. All right, Mario. We'll talk to you Saturday.
All right, see you guys. Oh, Greg, I have your mouse.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, look at that. All right, that's Mario Tirabassi
from
the
makes
UC.
The dream work.
Good stuff. All right, we got to do game puck winner. I think it's going to be Ilya Mikheyev without even looking, right? He's up big. All right, better father, better husband, better man. Go to Game Day Men's Health. Visit GameDayCHGO.com to find locations closest to you. Ilya Mikheyev is the winner of our Game Day Men's Health game puck.
He can be a better father now.
Yeah, absolutely.
48 hours into it, and he's got 2 goals, almost a hat trick. Good for you.
Yeah.
I am a huge Ilya Mikheyev fan.
I want to point out that Ryan Donato is at 4%.
Oh.
Yeah, I knew he had a tough uphill battle.
Was rough. We almost gave it to Spencer Knight, but
yeah, we made the choice of it was 4-1, and I said if they remain 1 goal, we're giving it to Spencer Knight, and then 8 seconds later he gave up a goal.
Yeah. Oh well, things happen. You know what else happens? The frat house. Fire it up, Chloe. All right, our featured frat boy, too young to drink, but good enough to score. Artyom Levshunov with the goal, 18:27 of ice time, 2 shots on goal, 7 shot attempts. That indeed led the team. Actually, no, it didn't. However, Tuesday had 10 shot attempts, but most by defenseman by far. 2 hits. He probably goes anyway.
He's that creepy older cousin that keeps showing up on campus.
So there is our featured frat boy. It is Artyom Levshunov. 2 excellent games in a row for number 55. Let's hope he starts stacking those and they become the norm because he's looking really, really good lately. All right, we'll talk to everybody Saturday. Who do we got Saturday?
The Caps.
Remind me. That's right. The Caps have been
bad,
struggling lately.
Bad. They've been more like the Capitals lately.
Ooh,
yeah, you like that?
I like that very much.
All I did was just add an R. Genius.
3-6-1 in their last 10.
That's not good.
It's not.
That's fewer wins than the Blackhawks have in their last 10.
Yes. No, Hawks are 2-7-1 in their last 10. Oh no, they didn't update this.
They didn't update that.
They're 3. Why is NHL.com the last site to update?
Because the NHL's bad at everything.
Oh, right. That's right. And we have one super chat before we go. $5 from James Eisman says, of course, CHSN's postgame show pales in comparison to CHGO's.
Damn right.
They don't have the Noodle Man, plus y'all's analysis and commentary is so much better. Thank you. We appreciate that.
They're going to get a Noodle Man within a couple of weeks. You watch. They've stolen a lot of other
Wouldn't be the first
stuff.
time they stole our ideas. All right. We love you guys. We'll talk to you Saturday night, Hawks and Caps. See you then.
We all silly like the mayor.